All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. This is going to be our NFL preview and review of the games. This is OCHS Live. My name is Coach McCarthy, here with my man Malachi Mefford.
What's up? How are you all?
And my man Brendan Lewis. Sorry,
How y'all
I'm
doing?
peeing on a couple ones. This is our second time. We tried this earlier, and somebody forgot to hit go live. We're not going to mention any
Hey, it's
names.
not
That
us.
might have been-
Not me.
Not I said the.
Just here so I don't get fined.
Just here so we don't get fined. There we go, old school Marshawn Lynch. So what we're going to do, folks, we're going to pull up some scores. We're going to talk about them a little bit and kind of get everybody's take on how things went. The first game that we're going to talk about, we talked about this a little bit earlier, sorry. The Colts and the Patriots, really a low-scoring game over in Frankfurt, Germany. A lot of those games over there in Europe haven't had much scoring going on. So I don't know if it's maybe part of traveling. You guys both play a little bit. How does traveling impact, getting ready for the game?
We went to Florida, and
Yes.
right as we got off the plane from Florida, we had to play a game, and it killed us.
Your legs weren't there?
Oh, everything. Everything felt weird.
Yeah.
Low scoring though, not very good game to watch. To be honest,
Yeah.
I was sitting at church and kind of had to just peeking back and forth at my phone, just trying to get
Don't,
updates. Mac
Don't tell mom or
Jones,
the pastor about that one.
Yeah.
They might not like that.
Mac Jones, terrible. Not a very good quarterback.
Just
Minshew
didn't-
Magic. He's had a couple pretty fire weeks, but I think what will really help the Colts is to get a all-star.
Oh,
quarterback.
Anthony Richardson, when he comes
But yeah,
back.
I think with Anthony Richardson coming
Richardson,
back,
he'll be-
I think the Colts are definitely a different team with Richardson involved.
Yeah.
Taylor's a great running back. I mean, as you can tell, the Patriots were probably just loading the box, trying to slow him down. Probably not the best game you're going to want to watch unless you're a Colts or Patriots fan. Just low scoring and kind of back and forth. Interesting that I saw from the game, on the last drive of the game, they pulled Mac Jones and put in Bailey Zapp, the Western Kentucky Hilltopper product, and he ends up throwing a pick to end the drive. So
Yeah.
it really just wasn't good for anybody out there.
Not a very good week for football.
The next game we talk about now, this was a high-scoring, great game. Lions 41, Chargers 38. A lot of great stats here. Guys got a lot of yards. Montgomery had some long runs. Amon-Ra St. Brown with yardage. Keenan Allen. Just really a great game. What stands out to you here on this one, Brennan?
Monroe St. Brown's and Keenan Allen's yards. Both of them dudes
175,
are,
156.
yeah.
Also, Montgomery there at the top.
That 75-yard long run.
75-yard long run.
Yeah, that was a big one.
He put it right in the end zone there on only 12 carries, too, for 166. Eckler also had 48 yards receiving, and he's probably their second go-to receiver out of the backfield, though.
Yeah, he can do everything.
I tell you what, fellas, I like Quentin Johnson, the TCU product. He is big.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. He got his first touchdown catch this week. Looking at the lines, 26 carries between Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs, the Alabama product, put up some great yards.
77 yards is pretty good
this-
right there for a
Hey, 23 for 33, 333 yards, no interceptions,
That's
2 TDs.
That's a good day. That's a good day pass.
Goff going is a really good quarterback if his offensive coordinators and stuff can run the plays to be around him and be around
Yeah.
his guys. He's a great leader out on the field.
I know everybody in Detroit wants to see the Lions go. I don't think you fellas have been alive since the Lions made it to the playoffs last.
No.
No.
Definitely not since the last time they won a playoff game.
Last year, I think they had to win their last one. I think they lost it on a last-second field goal. I think that's how they ended their season last year.
Speaking of last-second field goals, if I'm not mistaken, there was 6 games that were finalized with a last-second
Yeah,
field goal.
Yeah.
last week.
This being
was
one of
one.
them, and I believe that set the record in the NFL. We'll talk about a couple of them more as we go through. If I'm not mistaken, this game might have been as well. Arizona Cardinals and Atlanta Falcons. Kyler Murray back for the Cardinals had a great game. He was running around all over the place. Made some throws when he had to make them. Had some runs when he had to make them. He had a long run there for the touchdown. Bijan Robinson is just a beast over there for the Falcons. That's been a great draft for them as their
Great
rookie.
pickup.
I mean, what do you think, fellas? Rookie of the year, Bijan Robinson?
He's in the running.
He's probably top 3.
He's probably in the running.
top 3.
He's got to be in the mix. I don't know if he's going to get it, but he's got to be in the mix.
Trey McBride down there at the bottom of your screen there for Arizona receiving, 8 for 131, no touchdown, but I mean he had 9 targets, so he was 8 for 9.
He's catching just about everything he
Yeah,
can throw.
that's a good. That's pretty solid. I mean,
We'll see what they can do. Cardinals are going to 2-8, going to try and get things going in the right direction.
Also, we were talking about Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Great at Florida. He's really not found his feet in the NFL yet.
No, it's just
I think that's just more reps and stuff, and I think he'll be okay. He was projected to be really good, but he dealt with some injuries at the start of the season. I think he missed some games, started games and started the season.
Falcons have a young team. They're gonna be a contender.
yeah. The thing we talked about is Desmond Ritter just hasn't worked out. Desmond Ritter, the product of Cincinnati. Apart from us, it just hasn't worked out. Turnovers, interceptions, just not working out for him, unfortunately. And the game we talked about, our man Kobe Young will be all about this. County's pulling it out, 31. Browns over the old Browns.
This was a game also about 6 field goals.
Yeah, I think this might have been the last one. You see Watson hit it, Lamar Jackson. Talking about the field, he's always going to be doing his thing. Jerome Ford, really good, 770 yards, kind of stepping in for an extra job. That definitely hurt the Browns. But they're still standing good at 6-3.
Browns have won some big games. I mean, they beat the 49ers.
Yeah,
They beat the 49ers 3 weeks ago. Beat the Baltimore Ravens, the best team in their division right now, record-wise.
They're rolling pretty good there.
They're hot. So they'll be a team to watch out for towards the end of the season.
Most definitely, if they can stay warm, they definitely got a good defense that's going to do a lot of things. The blowout of the day, the 49ers against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Heard Christian McCaffrey, like as y'all have all seen on social media, it's McCaffrey lost his touchdown streak of like 13 games.
Yep.
That would have been, if he would have got one this week, he would have been the best record.
He would have the longest streak,
streak of touchdowns.
The number that stands out to me, the defense was able to get after Trevor Lawrence. They had 5 sacks on him. We talked about them picking up Chase Young, and then also with Bosa coming off the edge. That's a lot of pressure and some guys that can really get after your quarterback.
That's 2 monster dudes that you have to worry about.
It makes it really hard to try and get things done on offense when your quarterback's on the ground.
Yes.
Not a whole lot you can do. Next game we look at, the Titans against the Buccaneers. Titans just underperformed this year at 3-6. Derrick Henry just couldn't get anything going. Will Levis, 19 of 39, had a great game last week. Defense is the NFL, man. They adapt and they change real quick. So I think they're able to kind of figure that out. As you also see, 4 sacks for 32 yards on a loss. Those mount up. Those yards will mount up and kind of catch up with you. Not being able to get Derrick Henry going, wasn't a good day for the Titan fans.
Yeah, anytime. Will Levis, I mean, it might have been an off week, but I was sitting watching the draft, and they were telling him he was going 7th, and I was like, I don't think he's going to go 7th, because at Kentucky he didn't really lead them to a SEC championship or none of that. I mean, the SEC is the best division in football, hands down. You got Georgia, Bama. South Carolina's good. Auburn, Kentucky. All those teams are good. Levis,
Definitely.
It's a hard game out in SEC football. Florida Gators are always tough. But Levis, him going 2nd round, kind of surprised me. But I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's just gonna have to always in the NFL. It's just repetition.
He's gonna figure himself out too. It's also his first time.
I think that's he's got 2 starts under his belt. He was great the first game, and then not so much this game. So we'll kind of see it all average out. We'll see how he does. The stat that really stood out to us: 10 targets for Mike Evans, 6 catches for 143 yards.
Big boy.
I mean, that's a big target and a big man. He'll go get it. So we'll see if he can keep going. I tell you what, if he can stay hot, I think that definitely helps the chances for Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's a big kid to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
Yes, Baker Mayfield will be a good quarterback if you can piece around the players for him.
All right, the other game, not exactly a high-scoring game, but good for some of our fans around here. The Steelers pulled out a win against the Green Bay Packers. Nothing really stat-wise. Nobody really had a great game.
It was all
Jordan
around
Love,
team.
Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
Probably going to be a little bit more of a defensive struggle, some low-scoring games. Najee Harris had the great season down there at Alabama. He's done very well for the Steelers, just not a great game, 16 for 82. Did have a touchdown, so that helps out. But the name we talked about, Jaylen Warren,
Surprise.
we're a little surprised
player.
about that. Yeah, don't know a whole lot about him. We'll have to do some research about him and see how he did. Jordan Love, I think the jury's still out on Jordan Love. What do you fellas think about Jordan Love there?
He's going to have to figure stuff out. He's got to get something better than 21 for 40.
He's either got to complete more passes or
2 receptions.
They got to receive the ball. They got to rush the ball a little bit better to help him out because they wouldn't throw it 40 times if the rushing game was going. So, I mean,
And I think
they need almost probably 70 more yards on the ground for him to be okay and be confident in the passing game, because if most first downs we're handing the ball off, trying to see what we can do,
Yeah.
and then you got to figure it out from there.
You know, just looking at stats, the one that kind of stands out for Green Bay, you see Christian Watson, that's their big play receiver. 7 targets and only 2 receptions.
Yeah.
You never want to say it's one man's fault, but if he starts to catch some more of those, I think that might start to turn the game a little bit for them.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I imagine some of those were going to be in some key moments. The game that interested a lot of our fans around here, the Bengals and the Texans. Bengals started out great, scored on their first drive, kind of sputtered there for a little bit, ended up coming back and getting things going in the right direction, but C.J. Stroud, man, he's just a beast.
Played good, 800, like McCarthy said, 800 yards in the last 2 games or 3 games,
Yeah.
something around there.
He's another one that's in the running for Rookie of the Year,
yeah,
too.
he's going to be top 3 in Rookie of the Year.
I would agree. I think we got Stroud, Bijan Robinson. Anybody else jumping off for you fellas that we can think of?
Not right now.
We'll see as we go through the
We'll have
stats,
another
but
one. We'll see another one.
it's probably going to be one of those two. I'm thinking Stroud or
Bijan.
or
It's going to be
Bijan's.
how they end the season, because the start of the season, Bijan for the first 3 weeks was 4
He was a
weeks were
beast.
playing
He
really
was a
really well,
beast.
getting probably averaging about 100 yards a game, and now
Kinda slowed
something that
down a little
also
bit.
jumps off. Devin Singletary 30 for 150.
Yeah, he had a good game.
He had
Yeah.
a really good game and helped his team out.
He's getting the ball a lot, though.
He had a
30
good game.
touches is a lot, but
Yeah, I don't really know if they had another running back in there. Just looking at it,
yeah.
nobody else really had any carries. Chase had the big touchdown, and unfortunately, just for Tyler Boyd, that drop there at the end of the game really hurt them. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back.
Joe Mixon,
He was dropping a lot of passes, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one. It was 2 of them, 3 of them went right through his hands.
he dropped one big one though,
Oh,
a
yeah.
touchdown. Joe Mixon 11 for 46. He needs to honestly have more touches, or he needs to be more productive. I mean, he had his touchdown, but his
Yeah.
long of 15.
Jamar Chase, though.
Jamar Chase,
Always open.
always open, 7-11.
Yep.
11's always open, huh?
Tyler Boyd, I mean, one set, 8 of 12 for 117 is really good. I trying to look down the line there. Irv Smith from the tight end didn't look at him a lot. They looked at Boyd a lot, but they didn't look at Irv Smith there. I think he'll be key in the red zone. He's a second-year player, so he'll be okay, I think.
All right, folks, let's check out our next game here. Up in Seattle, we had the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Commanders. Didn't get a chance to check this one out. I believe this was another game that was decided by a field goal at the very
Yeah,
end.
This was.
I don't know if we talked about it on this broadcast or the other one. There was 6 games decided by last-second field goals. DK Metcalf, he is just a grown man out there.
Grown man playing with little boys.
Bigger and stronger than everybody, and Lockett can take the top off. He can outrun anybody out there that you got.
Kenneth Walker, one of 2 for 64 yards, a big play there. He only
Yeah.
had 1 reception for just 64. He played really well.
Believe it.
Actually, he had 63 and 64. That's a pretty good day.
Yep,
really.
that's a good day coming out of the backfield. Brian Robinson Jr. there for the Redskins. A few carries, but that big reception, he had a 51-yard reception for a touchdown. I believe they were getting some pressure on him. He just kind of dumped it down, was able to find the end zone. Sam Howell's playing okay. Probably not going to make the Pro Bowl this year for Mr. Howell, but he is having a good year, 29 to 44 and 3 touchdowns. That's not a bad stat
Yeah.
line to look at. But Geno Smith, he's been around the block a long time.
They wrote me off, but he didn't write back.
Yeah, he's been around the block a little bit. He's starting to come to find his own here in Seattle.
50 passing attempts almost, 369. I mean, 2 touchdowns. That's
That's
a pretty
a-
good day for him.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, that's
Only one
a
sack,
one
too.
sack
That's
to
a-
the line's doing their job. That's a good day for him. I'm not gonna diss on Geno Smith.
Most definitely. All right, the disappointing game, the Cowboys and the Giants. If you're a Cowboy or if you're a Giants fan, man, Tommy DeVito it wasn't there for him. I think their first 3 possessions they were on their own 10-yard lines. Just it never was a good scenario for them. And then Dak Prescott, with 404 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, he was throwing on air out there. I think it was like Skelly.
Tearing it up, and they even put Cooper Rush in for the whole fourth
Yep.
quarter.
And
Yeah, they.
Rush
So
had a
he
couple.
could have tore it up even more.
Rush had a
if he
couple
really
big
wanted
plays and had some big throws coming out there. Looking at your receivers down there on the bottom, CeeDee Lamb 11 of 14, 151 yards, and Cooks 9
Cooks,
receptions for 173
to.
yards.
You can't tear that. That's
Those are as a receiver, you'll take either one of those lines, right, Brandon?
Oh yeah, both of them are really good stat lines.
Saquon Barkley up there for we just talked
He's
about
just
the
got
Giants,
nobody
man. He
else.
just got nobody with him.
Yeah, 13 to 66. They were
DeVito.
just loading the box.
I mean, also they got only 3 targets, 4 targets, 3 targets. He tried to spread the ball out, but they just don't have a true receiver. I don't
Yeah,
think.
they just don't have. They have Saquon. That's it. They
Yeah,
don't have
they don't
anybody
have-
else.
they
So I'll have to try and figure some stuff out. Wandale Robinson, the local product, we're kind of close to Frankfurt, so he's local for us. Just haven't been able to get him the ball and get him involved in the game a little bit. If they can maybe figure out how to get him involved, maybe it'll help things out a little bit. The Sunday night game, low scoring as can
Terrible
be.
football game.
Yeah.
Jets and the Raiders. No offense to any of those teams, but just not a high scoring game for the Raiders. Great to get a win though.
Finally.
Aiden O'Connell, the new starting quarterback there over Jimmy G.
Didn't look bad. Didn't look. I mean, 16 of 27 for 153. Not the best stat line
But,
you're
I
going to
mean,
see from a quarterback.
You can see there on your screen sit for your final quarter scoring. A lot of field goals.
Lots of field goals.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs got plenty of carries, 27 for 116. And Devontae Adams is going to get all the targets in the world, 13.
Oh yeah.
I think you'd be all right. Mr. Brandon plays receiver for us on the football team. If you had a game with 13 targets, I think you'd probably be.
I'd be glad with that.
You'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, 13 targets, that's more than some high school teams throw the ball around the yard at all in
Yeah.
a game that we've seen. So,
Josh Jacobs there, 27, 116.
great
With a
game.
long
He's
of 40.
he's good.
While looking at the other side there, Garrett Wilson had 14 targets. So it's kind of like these are the only two fellas playing receiver out here today.
Yeah.
Yes.
One for each team.
If they can get Brees Hall going, I think
He's
they'll be
electric.
all right. He has some really big plays, and whenever he gets open in space, he can make plays.
He can definitely go. Dalvin Cook just not had the year that I think a lot of people were expecting him to have.
Once he traded it away from
Minnesota,
it's
it's
just,
kind of gone downhill.
Yeah.
He's a physical back. Maybe that wear and tear is starting to catch up with him a little bit there. The Monday night game. Now, this was a good game. I watched the better part of this one. Broncos started off on fire. Got a turnover first play of the game.
Yes.
And then the next possession, they had 2 picks. One of them was called out of bounds. They ended up getting one later on. But that Denver Broncos defense is really starting to play strong, and so is Russell Wilson.
Bad game by Stephon Diggs for the Buffalo Bills. Bad
he
game
didn't
by
have nothing.
Josh Allen, 2 interceptions to 1 touchdown,
Yeah.
and only 177. James Cook played good, 12, 109.
That fumble hurt
That
him early
fumble
on.
did hurt him early on. Got his confidence down a little bit.
Yep. Sutton had a great touchdown catch. I don't know if anybody saw that one. He was able to tiptoe the sideline
Yes,
over there.
he scraped in. Yes, on the left-hand side of the end zone.
That was
It's
good
a
play.
great ball placement too by Russell Wilson. He's not really shown himself in Broncos country. Let's ride.
So hopefully they'll get it figured out for him. So looking at our games upcoming for this week and do a little preview for next week. We'll get back with you next week for our review. Cincinnati at Baltimore. What do you fellas think? I definitely got to root for Cincinnati.
Who dey?
It's going to be about whether they can slow down Lamar Jackson.
Yep, I was about to say if they can stop Lamar, they'll be fine.
I think that's going to be the big thing for them.
I got Cleveland in the next one probably.
I think Cleveland might be ready to roll.
With that win over top of Baltimore. They're playing hot. They've won like their last 3, so I'm gonna go Cleveland in the next one.
I'd probably agree with Cleveland on that one. I don't think Pittsburgh offense is really ready for that Cleveland defense, and Cleveland's been doing pretty good on offense. What do you think, Brennan?
Yeah, Cleveland's been on fire.
All right, go ahead and take us on the next one there, Brennan.
I got Detroit.
Detroit?
Detroit
Yeah, I
or
think we're all
Chicago.
on board with Detroit.
Detroit, this is probably going to be their last easy game of the year, though.
Yep.
Chicago's not looking good. I tell you what, tickets as low, and again, shout outs to ESPN for our graphics for today. I was a little lazy. But $156 for tickets in Detroit, man. You could have bought season passes for like 3 seasons in a row when they were bad for $156. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing for them. The next game, the Chargers at Green Bay.
I'm gonna go Green Bay. I'm
Really?
Gonna say
You're
Jordan-
going upset. I
Upset.
got
I'm gonna go Green Bay. I'm gonna say they just have a good all-around game. I think that their defense will stop Keenan Allen, even though I'm a big Keenan Allen fan. We got Jair Alexander there at cornerback. I'm gonna pick Green Bay for this one.
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know about that one.
Y'all
If
figure
your
that one-
quarterback
We'll figure that
can't
one
get
out
your
next.
wide receivers the ball, you can't do nothing.
We'll figure
If
that
Christian
one out next
Watson
week.
shows up for Green Bay, they'll definitely have a chance. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think I got to go with the Chargers. Just too many points and too explosive of an offense. The next game, the Las Vegas Raiders coming off making some changes, doing things in the right direction, and going to have to go down to Miami and play in the warm
I still
down there.
got Cheetah.
Miami in the
can't-
bye
can't
week too.
guard
They didn't
Cheetah.
play. They didn't play last week. They had their bye, so I'm gonna say Miami big. I'm gonna say they're
I
gonna.
think I'm with you on that one. I think
Yeah.
the Dolphins are going to be able to pull that one out. The New York Giants at the Washington Commanders.
That's gonna be a horrible game.
That's gonna be about like the 10-6 game in
Yeah.
Frankfurt last week.
Unfortunately, it might be a 10-6 or 10-7 game.
Yeah.
Just neither team's really shown a whole lot.
I'm gonna pick New York though. I'm gonna say
You're
New
going to
York.
go with the rookie?
I'm gonna go with New York. Well, I'm gonna go with the New York Tommy DeVito,
Tommy DeVito, see
son
if he
of
can
Danny
pull it up.
DeVito.
He's a lot taller if that is his dad. I don't know if that's for real or not, but if it is, he's definitely a lot taller than him. The next game, Dallas and Carolina. What do you like, Brennan, about that one?
I like Dallas in that game.
Yeah, that's obvious there with the Dallas, Carolina.
Bryce Young has done well. I think it's still going to be too much for him.
Yeah.
That defense is going to get after him.
He's a small quarterback to find his way in the. About
Micah Parsons, man.
We'll
Michael
see.
Parsons. They got a great all around team. But I did see Leighton Vander Esch,
Is
their
out.
linebacker,
And he's
out
he's
for
thinking
the
about
season.
retirement too.
Ooh, he was pretty good. I liked
Yeah.
him.
He's neck. He's out
He's
for
had
the season.
multiple neck injuries.
That's
He's
not
thinking about
good.
Yeah, that's
calling it.
Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville for my man right here.
That'll be probably the most competitive game of the week, I think.
I think Tennessee is a turnaround.
If Levis shows up, I
Yeah.
think
Levis shows up, it'll be the most competitive game of the week.
that could
Yep.
be a good game. Those teams can go back and forth. The next game on the docket, Arizona at Houston, that could go back and forth as well. C.J. Stroud has really did some good things as we've talked about.
And
Well,
Kyler
they
Murray.
have Kyler
5
Murray
touchdowns. Kyler Murray back for the Cardinals. So
I'm going to go Arizona because of the fact that the experienced quarterback of
Kyler
Kyler
Murray,
That's
Murray,
fair.
but he's also going to have a lot of help from his receivers.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Starting with the afternoon slate, we look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. We talked
That
about this a little
defense,
bit.
man.
It's hard to beat.
That
That's
defense
defense.
is
Francisco at home.
that defense is stacked. I'm not real sure what the Bucks are rolling with. Plus, you got to go out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bit of a plane ride from Tampa to San Francisco.
San Francisco on the road, you can't. They're hard to beat anyway, but to try to beat them at home,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks on that
I think
one
it'll
as
be.
well.
I think it'll be a butt kicking again.
The Jets at Buffalo. I'm just not feeling it with the Jets right
No,
now.
even though Buffalo is playing terrible football, I'll say it's going to be Buffalo.
I think it's going to take a great performance by the Jets defense, and if you're out there watching the Jets defense, I hope you can come through and finish that one out for me, make me right. But I just don't know if that offense is going to be able to be able to go blow for blow with the Buffalo team if they can put points on the board. Seattle at Los Angeles. Now this could be a pretty high scoring game. Los Angeles can
I feel
put
like
some
it's
points
gonna
on
be
the
a
board.
good game.
I know Stafford has had some injuries. They were talking about whether or not they just signed Wentz.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
signed Carson
yes,
Wentz,
yes, I seen
and
that.
Stafford's been kind of up and down a little bit. So
I'm going to pick Seattle just because they've been the more consistent team all year. So I'm going to go Seattle.
I think I'm probably with you with Seattle on that one. What are you thinking there,
I
Brandon?
like Kenneth Walker, Seattle. I think he's going to go off.
The night game, a couple of weeks ago, this might not have been much of a game, but all of a sudden Denver's playing hot, and old Dobbs up there at the Vikings, man, he's got the hot hand at the quarterback
Yes,
spot.
he
You guys had a
does.
chance to check him out?
I watched him out the game he came in, and he
Game-winning drive in
Yeah.
the last 2 games, just like C.J. Stroud. But he'll be a good player in a couple
really,
years.
really athletic, can run, can throw, can do a lot of things.
and he's got wide receivers
And
too.
he's really, really smart. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, he works for NASA or does some side
Yes,
gig
yes,
work.
Does him
yes,
something,
yes,
yes. Yeah.
That's something. My side gig, I work for NASA. That's just not my main job right now. So there ain't a lot of people out there that can say that one. The Monday night game, the matchup for the Super Bowl,
It's going to be really good.
should be a great game.
Yeah,
Should
it
be a
should.
really, really good game. Kansas City and Philadelphia. If Patrick Mahomes can play to the way he's been playing, and he can find his receivers and Travis Kelce.
If Kelsey doesn't get, taken over by Taylor Swift, I think we'll be fine.
Got to keep his mind on the game.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of seeing Taylor Swift anyway.
Yeah.
I think this might be a high scoring game.
This is going to be a shootout, or it's going to be. They're both going to run the ball a lot, but I think I'm going to say it's going to be Philadelphia.
Philly.
Philly is.
You got Philly?
I'm going to go Philly.
I'll go the opposite. I got Kansas City.
You're going with Kansas City. I guess that makes me the tiebreaker man here. I got to say, fly, Eagle, fly. I think Philadelphia is going to have some defense for them, and Kansas City's kind of lacking. Don't really have the receiver core that they've had previously, so don't really have that explosive
It's
play.
going to be a good game whenever your ticket low is 343. It's
Yeah,
going to be a really good game.
That's going to be a high sellout game. Again, props to ESPN for helping us out with our graphics. And
And it's at Arrowhead, though. You got to take that in.
I tell you
That's
what,
why I'm kind of
wow.
edging towards the Kansas City because at Arrowhead,
it's going to be loud.
it's hard to beat, and they're a good they're going to be a good football team because of the leadership they have.
Yep.
Andy Reid's a great coach.
They've experienced old
Yes.
people.
Well, folks, this has been the NFL preview. Again, my name is Coach McCarthy. I have Brendan Lewis and Malachi Medford. Thank you all for joining us. Fellas, any last words for
Thanks
the
having us.
fans?
Same time, same place, same channel next week.
Yeah,
Yep.
Check us out next week. We'll try and catch you guys on a Wednesday for our review preview. Malachi is gonna maybe get a little NBA action going on. We'll have a little show about that.
Hopefully have some NBA whenever it starts firing up a little bit.
So, but like I said, thanks for coming out, folks. Enjoy.